want you to go steady. New bike. Yeah. What?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
If you're new to this channel, we are Sticky Beak and we are going on an adventure around the world with two brand new motorbikes. They are BMW F800GSs and we've been waiting for them to arrive since around about April, May time. Some of that is our fault because we've been homeless after we sold our farm, and some of it is just the delay getting it from Germany. So they've come from Berlin, and we're nearby to Adelaide, and we've bought these bikes from Moto Adelaide. And we've just brought them back and we're about to start fitting them out. But first up, I'm going to give you a little bit of a walk around for what we've actually fitted to these bikes so far, and then we're going to show you a few things that we're going to fit aftermarket, if you like. This is my motorcycle. It's slightly different to Chris's, but some of the features that we've got on it are exactly the same. Obviously the base model is exactly the same, so even both of them are white. The reason we chose white is because if I want to put some channel stickers on it or make something stand out, I chose the white background as opposed to the sport. Having owned, well, Chris has owned a black R1. It's like having a black car. They're very difficult to keep clean, and they don't look so good once the dust gets washed off or gets touched with a hand, and you start to get a lot of scratches. It's really noticeable on a black motorbike or a black car. And we've had a white car before, and they don't tend to show the dirt, and they show a bit of dirt, but they don't tend to show the scratches and the damage to the paintwork as much. So I expect we're going to get, some dirt and damage going on around here probably, and that will show up. But anyway, that was the reason for choosing the white model. It has all of the modes. So it's got the dynamic, road, rain, and enduro. So they're the modes, and you can have a look around various channels. They'll show you the entire bike and what it's got, etc. It's, as I say, standard, except it's got all of the modes added. So one of the first things we've put on both bikes are the bark busters, and we took off the fairly flimsy BMW standard hand guards, and we've put on bark busters. And as you can see around this side, the lever sits really nicely inside there, so it's a long way in and it's well protected. So a hand might be up here, but the lever is protected. So having dropped the Kawasaki in Tasmania, I know what it's like to lose a lever, and I don't want to encourage that kind of thing should the motorcycle fall over. On both bikes there are the upper and the lower crash bars. So there are Wunderlich crash bars. They're on both bikes, and hopefully if it does go down, which I'm sure mine will because I'm a lot shorter than Chris is, it means that we've got protection for all of this that sits behind it, particularly, of course, for the engine. The other thing we've got on as standard on both motorcycles is the quick shifter protector. So we've got a big piece of metal work over here which has been fitted over this, which seemed to be pretty vulnerable when we first looked at these bikes, especially in a drop. So that was one of my first concerns. And also, having owned a lot of bikes and experienced what it's like to have a short side stand, we've added the side stand extender plate. When I test rode this bike, I had the low seat. There's also an extra low seat which comes from BMW, but they were both rock hard. And I know someone that's got the extra low seat, and it really is like sitting on a board. So I wanted something which was a bit softer but lower. What happens is you can't see this before you actually purchase it. So what I didn't know about this is that it's wider at the front than a standard seat, and I'll show you that in a second. But I wanted it lower but also more comfortable. I think it's as low as the low seat, but it's not as low as the extra low seat. And the reason for that is the extra low seat is supposed to be 25 millimeters. It lowers you by 25 millimeters, and this one lowers you by 25 millimeters. But in practice, I think it's the low seat, so which is 15 millimeters, because this seat is wider. So if you take a look at the front of this seat, so the front of this seat is very wide. It's got a nice flow to the lines, which means that you're bumping up against that when you're moving forward. But it's got that width here, which of course makes your legs higher off the ground anyway. But it's a lot lower than the standard seat. I'll show you on Chris's bike. So this is the standard seat. It's very pretty. It's got nice detailing on the seat itself, and it's got the blue to match the BMW badge and the GS name. So, and it's really nice and smooth. It's quite firm to start with, as most seats are, but it's very well padded. It's got a lot of padding. As you can see, that profile is a lot thinner at the front. So you've got that sloping side, which means it's a lot thinner. If we go back to the Wunderlich, you can see on the profile of this seat, it's got a nice profile, which takes the height of it, but it adds the width. So the two seats together show quite a difference. But the difference in this one is it should be a lot softer.
It's more sculpted.
Only time will tell. And it's got a nice little groove in it here, which is supposed to add to heat dispersion over a period of hours. When you're riding the bike for a long time, then you're likely to get heat dispersion. The other significant difference between the bikes is I have a Garmin, which Zumo XT2, which I purchased so that we could navigate around southern Africa for the Put-Foot Rally. And I want to keep that because, not that I'm an expert on it, but I really like the Garmin, but also because we wanted two different types of GPS, just in case one didn't pick something up, but the other one did. So it's kind of built-in redundancy. And what we've done is, or what I've had to do, so what has been added to my bike onto the cradle. So this is the standard BMW cradle, this bit, which is already wired into the motorcycle loom. There's an addition which goes on top, which is an adapter. As you can see, it's made by Wunderlich, and the Garmin will sit on top of it. I might, if we have time today, get it out of the box and see how it fits on. The bonus of having this is it's got some additional USB ports on the side, which are difficult to see in this light. This is the standard navigation cradle, exactly the same as mine, but in here is going to sit the latest connected ride. So Chris is going to use the BMW GPS, and I'm going to use the Garmin. So that principally is the two differences on the motorcycle. The seat is different and the navigation is different. Everything else which has been added to the bike, the bark busters, the upper and lower crash bars, forgot one more item which has been added, which is the skid plate. So the skid plate on the bike is Wunderlich. So it's an aluminium skid plate. We didn't want one which was, you know, heavy duty plastic, and we didn't want one which was solid steel. And we wanted something which blended in with the rest of the motorcycle. And as you can see, it's been formed and pressed so that it's got a nice look to it, an appealing look to it. It's shaped. So now what we're going to look at is this tiny little cover. I'll call it a cover because it's not a screen. It's just a cover which sits on the front of the motorcycle. And we want to put on here something a lot larger, but also something which is a little bit more useful.
Right.
What are you trying to do?
Need to get these two covers.
Just come on here a bit.
The two covers out, and that gives us access to be able to remove this out. And
Right.
we've got some replacement ones to go in, which are taller, to go on for a taller screen.
Okay.
So there's one of the plugs. And then we've got another one there.
There's a second one. That then releases
Yeah, the cover.
the little cover.
Right, so now what we've got, when you look here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that holds this support bracket, which is the support for the screen. And we've got this, the star bit to fit.
This is where your aircraft engineering practice comes in.
Yeah, we'll have this bike flying yet. This has the adjustable screen. It just moves it up a couple of inch or two, and you can have the option of the position. And we're just replacing with some longer screws that come with the BMW.
So they've supplied what they call Philister
Yeah.
screws, which are longer.
Because they've got rubber washers on there. This is the awkward bit because you've got to get the rubber through there. Don't want to use any screwdrivers because you might split the rubber.
It's probably quite beneficial that the rubber's quite new.
Would go in here. Like so. The screw that replaces these four to buy are $20. $20 for 4 screws.
Yep.
They did think that we could just swap these ones over. They're not long enough. They did say if you could swap them over, they'd quite happily refund us the cost for 4 screws. That's damned expensive.
$5 a screw.
Yeah, which is crazy to be honest, but in all fairness, it makes life a little bit more simpler, I think.
So the cover is next.
The plug in, and they'll go into there. Right, and the operation of it,
While you're sitting on your bike, you can raise it
it'll raise it up an inch or two.
and lower it.
3 inches maybe if you're lucky.
So if you've got extreme weather or rain, at least you can get a little bit more protection.
The importance for us is that we wanted a bigger screen, not just the little cover that goes on the basic standard bike. We wanted something a bit bigger, but we didn't want something that was sort of like this tall. It looks a little bit dysfunctional in our eyes. Having this so that we can actually adjust it and move it up and down, just to vary it, but being bigger than just covering the front here, the console. It does actually achieve what we want it to do.
Great job.
It is actually.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the videos with your friends and family, and we'll see you in the next one.
Love you a long time.